So much for being here with us today. It is greatly appreciated. For starters, if you don't mind, would you tell us your name and a little bit about what you do?
Absolutely, sure. I'm Nicole Narvaez-Mans, and my day job actually is in HR and at BNY Mellon. But the reason I'm here talking with you is because I am the owner, founder of Nickys Magic Wand, and we've developed a cosmetic tool that helps solve a big problem for a lot of women and some men as well.
Now, when you say help solve a big problem, what problem, if you don't mind sharing, does it help solve?
Sure. A lot of people. We throw away a lot of product, which in turn means we're throwing away a lot of money. And so this tool is a universal tool that can go into a variety of shapes and sizes of small tubes and containers, and it retrieves all of that leftover product so that you're not going to the store quite as often as you were before. So in turn, you're saving money.
Wow. Thank you for sharing that.
Sure.
What's the most influential book that you have read and why?
Oh, let's see. I used to read for pleasure so often, and I don't have the time anymore with the 9 to 5 and the business. However, I had the fortune of reading a few books over the Christmas break, and I just read one by one of my early idols from early 20s, Maya Angelou, called Mom and Me and Mom.
Okay.
And the reason I found it inspirational, because I thought about just the messages in the book, is that here's this powerful woman who's discussing her relationship with her mother, who also was a powerful woman in her community, and they talk about being a nurturing mother as well as a powerful woman, and that's something that I strive to have, that balance of being an effective and nurturing mother as well as I'm just going to say it, a powerhouse in business. That's my goal.
What type of professional legacy would you like to leave behind?
Oh, wow. I think for corporate America, I want to be known, and this really extends to my business as well. I want to be known as someone who was honest. I want to be known as someone who was an extremely hard worker. I never want to be seen as lazy. I want to be known as someone who not only did the work, but also did it with thought and also had work that was fulfilling. Not just sort of a, okay, I'm just going to go in here, put this, shuffle these papers around, but really make a difference. In the work that I do in HR, it's affirmative action. So it's making sure things are fair and equitable. That's fulfilling. And then in my personal business, it's, saving people products, saving people money. So it's not just, hawking something that's a luxury item. It really does, help with people's bottom lines, and that means something to me.
Yes. In reference to someone starting their own business, what type of advice would you give them?
The first, and because you get asked this question from time to time, right? And I'm very new to all of this. However, I've learned so much, and I'm always happy to share. And one thing that comes to me when I'm asked that question is know and be sure that you want it. There's so many obstacles that can come up, whether it's capital, whether it's time, whether it's family obligations. You have to be 100% sure that when you go down this path, if it implodes, you won't have regretted taking that path. You won't have regretted taking that journey. Know that you want it. And the second thing I would say is take a breath for each step. Think about where you want to be, what kind of marketing you want to do, how much money you have, and how can you get more. Don't just rush in and then have it, kind of fizzle out. Take a breath at each stage and sit down with a good old-fashioned pen, paper, pro-con list. Set a goals. Maybe it's one goal for January. Set it, meet it, exceed it if you can, but just take your time.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for sharing that information. In reference to finance, I heard you talking about capital earlier. What type of finances did you have when you started your own business?
Sure.
And how were you able to use those finances, if you had any finances, to assist the growth of your business?
Sure. I had a little something tucked away. I mean, couple thousand, about $2,500. And when we got the first quote on the patent, and they said that it was probably going to run about $6,000 to $13,000, and I was thinking, okay, that's just a patent. That's not doing anything else. That's not getting anything manufactured. That's not getting prototypes. So I thought, okay, I'm gonna need more than this $2,500. So I initially went and got a small little loan, $5,000 from the credit union, and I just sort of started working off of that $7,500. You know, a little money here, you know, a couple $100 for the patent office to get started, and then this is something that would probably, you know, kill every financial planner. Hopefully Rob Wilson isn't watching, but or Susie Orman. Vern's doing it big, Susie Orman. So. I had worked for the federal government for 11 years, and so I had saved a fair amount of cash, and I decided to leave, and I rolled that over into an annuity. And I sat down once it was really starting to heat up. Molds for this product, extreme, I mean, we're talking multiple thousands of dollars. Marketing's expensive. Design consultants are expensive. Patent attorneys, business attorneys, expensive. And so I thought, you know, it was certainly past my $7,500, and I was thinking, okay, I need to make some big decisions. So I simply asked myself, Quincy, I said, think for a second, will you hate yourself if you stop here and don't go any further and don't try anymore because you ran out of capital? Or, you know, would you be more disappointed about having lost this, you know, this money? Can you make more, you know, that kind of thing. And it was a split decision. I said, it doesn't matter to me if I lose it. I have to go for it. I will be so upset with myself if I don't try. I'll make this money again. I'm a smart girl. I'll make it again. I have a full-time job. I'm not afraid. So I put the fear to the side, and I couldn't have been happier that I made that choice.
Wow. Thank you for sharing that information.
Sure.
In reference to resources, what type of resources did you have, or did you have resources when you started your business?
Resources in general with regards to capital, or just in general?
Well, just anything outside of capital.
Okay. You know, I believe in the power of the mentor. I believe in asking for insight. I've been in affirmative action my entire life, so I knew zero. When I tell you zero about manufacturing, anything related to patents, inventing, nothing, zero. So, you know, I'm all about asking for help. What is, you know, how did you do it? What did you do? People can be so generous and kind, and you simply have to ask. And so, I would say, people who walked before me, those were the best resources. You know, get that professional opinion.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. Would you mind saying a few words about our good friend Bernard Alexander?
Oh, sure, Bernard Alexander.
Yes.
You know, I tell you, from the moment that I met Bernard, the first word that comes to mind genuinely is giving. I think he's genuinely trying to link people. He's genuinely trying to make lives better. He's genuinely trying to get people to make those connections that will push them to the next level.
Yes.
And that's admirable, and that's a role model, and it's a rare quality to find.
Well, thank you so much for sharing your business. Thank you for sharing your knowledge, and thank you for sharing your passion.
Thank you, Quincy. It's a pleasure. Bye-bye.